This is Smarter San Diego TV.
Here is what they don't want you to know.
Owning a home is the cornerstone of any good financial plan or retirement strategy. I mean, that's the real reason we buy real estate.
You've got to be smarter if you want to be successful. That's what this show is for.
This is going to blow your mind. You're going to share this with everyone you know.
I guarantee to make you smarter than everyone else.
If you do nothing else in your lifetime to save for retirement other than own your home free and clear, you're going to be okay.
And now, here's your host, Derek Evans.
Welcome to Smarter San Diego TV. This is the place right here where you get smarter, and it's all commercial free. This week's show jam-packed with awesome guests, as we'll first speak with Brian DeVore, our community expert in Carlsbad. He'll tell us about the crown jewel of Carlsbad. Then we'll chat with board-certified tax attorney Jeffrey Kahn. We'll discuss this new tax break for married couples and whether it's good for you or not. Next, we'll speak with Scott and Christina Harmes, our reverse mortgage experts who will tell us more about how to fix an underfunded retirement. Then we'll check in with Alexa and Ryan Villa, local musicians here in San Diego, to see what's new and what's up next for them. And finally, we'll speak with Scott Ryan and Christy Rader, who will tell us what to do in preparation for the fire season in Scripps Ranch. It's all coming up next, right here on Smarter San Diego TV, where we guarantee to make you smarter than everyone else. Our next guest is our community connection in Carlsbad. Please welcome to the show my good buddy and real estate expert, Brian DeVore. Brian, how you doing, man?
Very good. Thank you very much for having me.
It's great to have you again and talk Carlsbad.
Yep.
You are Mr. Carlsbad.
I am Mr. Carlsbad, currently, yes.
That's what I've always wanted to call you Mr. Carlsbad. I'm so glad you have the website now.
It rolls off your tongue well, so I think we'll use it.
It does. Now today we're going to talk about 92011.
Correct.
Right? Mm-hmm. Tell us about, for people who don't know Carlsbad, there's 4 zip codes.
Right.
What's 011 like?
Okay, so as I've mentioned before, Carlsbad is broken up into 4 different zip codes. 92008 is in northwest, 92009 is southeast, 92010 is in northeast. Carlsbad in 92011 is in the southwest portion of Carlsbad.
Okay.
So it's bordered by Palomar Port Road to the north, El Camino Real to the east, to the south is Leucadia Boulevard, and to the west is Hawaii. Maybe not quite that far, but the ocean is to the west.
So I would assume then, if I don't know anything about Carlsbad, that the southwest portion would probably be the most valuable portion of the land because it's closer to San Diego.
Correct.
And you've got the beach frontage.
Absolutely. That's true. And so historically, the 92011 zip code has had the highest home values, but still a moderate level of sales because it's a very desirable place to be.
Is there a lot of units there? I mean, as far as unit count is concerned, is it densely populated or is it more sparse?
So it's sort of a mix. You do have some more dense areas, which would be your condos, but you do have some homes with a little bit of land. You're not going to get as much land in that zip code because it's just very valuable property. So you're not going to have as big of a lot, so to speak, as you might have in other areas, but you're also 5 minutes from the beach.
Right. Yeah, the most, right?
Exactly. Exactly.
So why would someone want to live or be looking to live in that particular area of Carlsbad?
So let's talk a little bit about who is living there right now.
Okay.
So right now there's about 26,000 people living in the 92011 zip code as of July. What's interesting is about 82% of them are married. So if you're married, you're going to fit right in. Of the 82%, 46% are married without kids, 36% are married with kids. So I think the other 18% of the people who live in 92011 are probably the kids of the people who are married with kids. So that's if you fit that profile, that's where you want to be.
That's why this guy's Mr. Carlsbad. He knows everything. He knows
right.
the stats
That's
down.
right.
That's
Absolutely.
crazy. Okay.
The other thing is about 62% of the people who live in 92011 have some sort of college degree. So they're well educated. Therefore, probably not a surprise, about the median income in that zip code is about $95,000, which is in line with the rest of Carlsbad, but about 50% higher than in the rest of the state.
Yeah, it's a lot higher than in San Diego. I think in San Diego it's about 55,000.
Right.
So almost double the average in San Diego.
Right. And if you want to get the rest of the demographics of that zip code, you can go to my website and I'll have all the demographics. You can learn more about it.
Yeah, you've got a ton of good information on your website. Obviously, you've been carrying the Carlsbad flag for a long time.
Absolutely.
On the real estate debate, where you're a multi-time champion, a 7-time winner. Rancho Carrillo, one of the the neighborhoods in Carlsbad that you've talked about many times before. So that's who is living in in 92011 right now.
Yes.
Is that who would be also a good fit, or is it a more dynamic area?
Well, I think it's a good fit, but it's also becoming more dynamic. We're actually starting to see a little bit more infill. So you're seeing some developments which are sort of live-work type places, condos that are on top of retail that are close to the transit. And so you're starting to see some young professionals also moving into those areas. So I think it'll always be a sort of a dynamic area, but because of the fact they're not building a ton more homes, I think it'll be somewhat what I've already described.
Okay, because the thing that's really interesting about real estate in San Diego just in general right now is we're seeing the areas that really placate toward the millennials or the younger generations or that lifestyle, not necessarily just the millennials. There are a lot of boomers who want to live like millennials.
Right.
Walk to everything, close proximity, very convenient oriented lifestyles. Does 92011 have that element?
It has a little bit of the element, but I think what we tend to see, the clients that I work with who gravitate towards those areas probably have experienced that lifestyle that you're describing before they had kids, and now that they're looking to have children, they want an area where it's more of a family type environment, where they're going to have the kids can play with other kids on the street, where the schools are excellent, and the schools in 92011 are top notch. So I think this is sort of the next stage of life area versus some of those areas you just described.
Yeah, because we've noticed, like especially in Del Mar, which is just turning to a ghost town, it doesn't really placate to that
Right, exactly.
that concept, and so it's just sort of the people who are there, they're getting older, and then they're moving on, and nothing's changing. They don't have that draw.
Right.
I think the difference probably with Carlsbad, the beaches are a little bit more accessible.
Right.
There's more area of beach to be able to get to.
Well, and I think also too, Del Mar has historically been higher priced than Carlsbad.
So much, and still is.
Exactly. I mean, so for example, in 92011, the average median price home in the last 3 months of sales is about $800,000.
Okay.
Del Mar, I think, is a lot more.
1.5 almost, or
Right.
right around there.
Exactly.
Yeah, so almost twice as expensive.
Right.
In Del Mar, half as expensive in
Right,
Carlsbad.
in Carlsbad.
Let's look at it that way.
Good way to look at it.
So if I'm looking to buy,
Yes.
92011, I want to be in Carlsbad for the schools, but I want to be in the southernmost area because let's say I work in Sorrento Valley or something
Yes.
like that. So I want to be south. I want to be beach. I want the beachfront stuff. So I want to be close to that. So I'm thinking 92011. What do I need to know as a buyer right now?
So right now, sales are happening. The volume is very strong. Prices are up versus last year. The same 3-month period a year ago, the median price was $765. So it's up about 5%. What's also interesting is the same 3-month period in 2006, which was the top of the market, was $739. We're actually above the top of the market. So
Wow.
I think that if you want to buy in that zip code, you want to get in. Now's a good time. Rates are still good. There's still a good mix of homes that are available. Not a ton of inventory, kind of like everywhere in San Diego right now, so you have to be patient. But if you're looking to get in there, there's really no better time to do it.
Okay, so we're at a price point that is higher than we were at the peak.
Yes.
Is that what you said?
Correct.
Do you find that to be concerning at all? Do you think that means that we're too high?
So that's a very good question, and I think that we have to look at a couple things. One, how does a home compare to buy versus to rent?
Yep.
Right now, and I looked at this, it's about the same to buy as it is to rent. The difference is the majority of people who live in the zip code are owners, about 60% versus renters. So I think that as long as the income of these folks is still higher than the average, I think you'll still see people moving there. And let's face it, they're not building anymore. You can't build to the west unless you can build on a barge.
Yeah.
You can't build anywhere else, so it's just becoming more valuable.
Wouldn't that be crazy if they started infilling sand and
That'd
like
be kinda
making
fun.
new beach?
Exactly. That'd be kind of fun.
Everyone who had a waterfront property, sorry.
Right. It's no longer. Sorry.
Sorry.
You bought the view. You don't have it
You
anymore.
don't have it. You're looking in my backyard.
That's right. You got to pay me for it access now.
Well, let's go to the other side of the coin then.
Yes.
Because I typically, when I see or I hear stuff like that, like, hey, we just made new highs, or we just hit the old highs, I'm thinking, if I'm a seller, this might be a good time. Or if I'm thinking about selling, let's say we're going to move, our last kids are going to be out of the house in a couple years, and we've already got plans to downgrade and go into a smaller area, a smaller cost, and sell and take our profits and use that as part of our retirement, or whatever the situation is.
Right.
But I start thinking about the people who might be sellers, and bulbs are going off like, this is probably a good time to sell.
Right. Exactly. And that's one of the problems we've had is with low inventory is because we don't have a lot of people who are selling because they want to be there.
Right.
But if I was a seller, I'd look at a couple different things. One, is it time to cash out and take my profits? Because now, even if I bought at the top of the market, I'm still probably okay. People who bought at the very bottom of the market, obviously they're doing fantastic right now.
They're just getting paid crazy.
But the question is, where are they going to move to? Most of the people we see who are selling now are selling because of a change of life situation, retirement, kids out of the home, like you mentioned, things of that situation versus, oh, we just want to sell. Maybe they're moving for a job. But what I'm telling a lot of people in that zip code now is, maybe you don't want to sell now. Maybe you take advantage of the low interest rates that are lower than what you got your loan with. Maybe you refinance it. I think a lot of people in that zip code, their home is worth more than what they thought it was. And maybe after watching this segment, they may think, oh, maybe my home really is worth a lot more than what I thought it was. Maybe they want to refinance it, maybe use it as a rental for a long term. It really depends on their situation and what their strategy is going to be. If they need the money out to buy the next home, obviously they can't do that, but maybe that would be a good opportunity for them.
Great stuff from Brian DeVore. Really appreciate you being here, my friend. If you're looking to buy or sell real estate in Carlsbad, you know who to call. Call Mr. Carlsbad, Brian DeVore. Stick around for more Smarter San Diego TV, where we guarantee to make you smarter than everyone else, commercial free. Our next guest is an expert problem solver. Please welcome to the show my good buddy, board-certified tax attorney, Jeffrey Kahn. Jeff, what's up, man?
Hey, Derek. Thanks for having me on again.
Yeah, it's great to have you. Everyone wants to know how to save money, how to pay the least amount of taxes, right? That's what people want to know about taxes.
That's right.
They don't want to know how it works because it's too complicated. They just want to know, how do I pay the least amount possible?
Correct.
Okay, so there's a new tax break for married couples I saw on Yahoo Finance. I wanted you to kind of speak to that and say, is it something that's really applicable? Is it something that people should really be able to use?
Okay, yeah, definitely. So with regards to the tax break that you were looking at, it's actually on estate taxes.
Interesting.
And estate taxes are different from income taxes. Income taxes, we all file our tax return each year. We report our income from W-2, federal income taxes withheld, of course state income taxes too, can't forget about the state.
Yeah, can't forget about the state.
So, and it's easy in terms of, okay, we know we file a return and either we have to pay with that or we get money back, okay? The estate tax though is an estate tax that if it gets triggered, it's triggered because of your death. And it's a tax not based on how much income you earned, but how much wealth you had when you died.
Interesting. So what is the break actually for? So married couples, if one of them is to pass away, there's an estate tax break, but it only works in certain circumstances, right?
That's right. Well, every person is given an exemption. And that exemption's been going up each and every year because it's one of those figures that gets adjusted by the government each year for inflation. So that exemption is currently worth $5.43 million.
Wow.
Okay?
That's
not a $5.43 million tax credit. What that is as long as you have wealth that doesn't exceed that amount, you don't even have to worry about estate tax. That credit, though, or that exemption only applies per person, and under the old law, if you died and you didn't use it, it got lost. So think about it. You're married. You die first. After all, husbands always die first, right?
Yeah, it's part of our duty.
Okay, exactly, exactly. So you die first, and you don't utilize this exemption, and you give everything to your wife. Now your wife dies. She dies with the same amount of wealth that the two of you had, but the only exemption she has is her exemption.
I see.
The husband's exemption is lost. So think about it. If the exemption is $5.43 million, and together the two of you have a $10 million estate, Under the old law, if husband didn't use his exemption when he died, now when the wife dies, there's going to be an estate tax due.
A lot.
On her death. A lot. But under the old law, we were able to properly plan for that by dividing up the estate, doing separate trusts, and therefore preserving both exemptions and giving the survivor spouse the benefit of wealth from both estates. Under the new law, you don't need to do that any longer. In other words, you could have been lazy, not go to an attorney and get your estate plan done. Husband now passes away, and now surviving spouse, going to a smart tax attorney, recognizes, hey, we've got to do this filing within 9 months of death so that even though you guys didn't set up your estate right, we can preserve husband's $5.43 million exemption.
Wow. So this is a big deal for people who have larger estates.
Correct.
It could be a huge amount, because it's a huge amount of taxes if you don't apply this.
Right.
Isn't it like 35 or 50% or something like that?
Oh, sure. The estate tax rates, I mean, they're just humongous, because you're talking like you can get up to a 45% tax rate on the wealth. This is your principal value of your estate. Can you imagine that? You know, you die and you've got a $10 million estate, and you don't do the right planning, and now you're writing a check to the government for
millions of dollars.
$2 million.
And this is money that you've earned that's already been taxed. I mean, that's the thing that's so crazy to me about the estate tax. I never understood it. It's never made sense. And I know that the government looks at it like, well, you know, you're not here anymore, so you don't need the money. But you know, if the money's already been taxed, you've already made it, saved it, you know, earned it, and then they want to go and tax it again. So I'm glad that they did this. I think this is a really good thing.
It is a good thing.
Because most people don't know how to estate plan properly, Jeff.
Thing. And there's another benefit, too, with this process, this new process that has come out, and that is not everyone knows that when you inherit an asset, you get a new basis. It's called a step-up in basis.
Oh, really?
And that basis is equal to the fair market value of the property, so or asset. So let's assume my father owns a vacant piece of real estate in San Diego, okay? And he bought a long, long time ago. It was farmland, and he bought it for maybe $100,000. And now it's worth $1 million. Well, if Dad were to gift that property to me while he's alive, my basis is whatever his basis was.
Oh, wow.
So if I turn around, sell the property right away, I got a $900,000 gain. But if Dad bequeathed it to me, which means I got the property when he died, and the property was worth $1 million when he died, my basis now is going to be $1 million. I could turn around, sell that property for $1 million, no capital gain.
That's huge. That's huge for people who are trying to pass along assets to understand.
Correct.
Wow. And does that have to do with the estate planning process, or is that just part of the new rule?
Well, actually, it's part of the filing obligations that you have with the government, that when somebody dies and you need to file an information return, or you need to file a federal estate tax return, those filings will document what this new value is. Now, if you're not required to make any filings, you need to do your homework. You need to get with, tax attorney to make sure you've got all the proper documentation in place, because what if you're not selling that property you inherited right away? Maybe you're going to sell it 5 years from now, 10 years from now. Somehow, you need to document what that new basis is.
Yeah, absolutely. You've got to do that. That's what tax is all about. It's all about a basis of some sort, right?
That's right.
And you can learn stuff like this on Jeff's blog as well, contactslaw.com, and also listening to his radio show on ESPN 1700 Fridays from 2 to 3 p.m. How's Windus doing, your new co-host?
Oh, she's doing great.
Yeah.
She's doing great.
The
It's
show
nice.
is awesome.
Yes.
It's a really cool dynamic between the two of you.
Exactly,
Yeah.
and because Windus is a financial planner, she's bringing to the table different perspective on what it is that we talk about when it comes to finance and taxes and even business matters. So it's been working out really great.
Yeah, it has been. I've been listening, and I heard you guys talking about some summertime tax tips.
Yes.
So I thought we should bring that up on the TV show today as well. Give us some of the best summertime tax tips.
Okay, well, there's been a number of them, and these summertime tax tips come from the IRS, and as I say on my show, anyone could go ahead and subscribe to them. You can go on irs.gov and subscribe to them, but I know our listeners, they don't like receiving letters from the IRS, and I don't think they would want to be receiving emails either. So we make it easy. Listen to our show, and you'll be able to hear what you need to hear, plus maybe hear some things that the IRS doesn't want you necessarily to know.
Exactly. That's the great stuff right there.
So one of the things that we talked about recently was if you're searching for a job. Okay, and it's summer, there's a lot of college graduates out there, and maybe they're still looking for work, or a lot of times people think, hey, it's summer, maybe it's time that I change and find a different place of, employment or whatever. And so there's a number of things to consider if you are looking to deduct any of your job search costs.
Job search costs are
That's
deductible.
right. Job search costs are deductible.
Wow.
That's correct.
Nice to know.
But you got to plan it right, and you got to meet, the conditions. One of the big conditions is that you can't be looking for a new job in a different line of work. Okay? So if you are a college graduate, what were you doing before? You were going to school full time. Now you're looking for a job. Well, because you're looking for your first job, that particular job search is not deductible. Okay? Let's say you were working as an accountant, you went to law school part-time, you finally got your law degree, and now you're looking for a job as an attorney. Because it's a different line of work than what you were doing before, the IRS says, well, that's not a deductible job search. Okay? But let's say you're working as an accountant, and you're looking maybe to work in a different part of the country, or even a different
firm.
Different firm.
Yeah.
Those job search costs would be deductible because you're looking for a new position in the same type line of work.
Wow. So who knew? Because those costs can get up there, especially if you're moving, from state to state or from city to city. The expenses of being able to, go and search for a new job, check out a new company, do all that stuff, it could get up there pretty quickly.
Exactly.
And that's deductible. Very good stuff. Always saving money for our listeners. Jeff, thank you so much for being here today. Really appreciate your time.
Thanks for having me, Derek.
Absolutely. That's board certified tax attorney Jeffrey Kahn. If you or anyone you know is having tax problems, he is the guy to call. And if you want to read a great blog, go to his website, contaxlaw.com. Stick around for more Smarter San Diego TV, where we guarantee to make you smarter than everyone else, commercial free. Our next guests are the Smarter San Diego reverse mortgage experts, the Harmes team, Scott and Christina Harmes, father-daughter reverse mortgage team here in San Diego. Scott and Christina, how you guys doing?
Good. Glad to be with you.
Yes, fantastic to have you again as we continue the series of how to fix an underfunded retirement and all the things that go along with that. Today, one of the really big topics is long-term care insurance, which is actually something I have. Some people are like, you're 30, what? You have long-term care insurance? But it's pretty important, right, Scott?
Well, it is important, and the financial planners we work with recommend that people start shopping for long-term care insurance when they're younger. 52 to 64 is a recommended age range because you qualify based on your age and your health, and you really want to get in the door on long-term health or long-term care insurance while you're in good health.
Right, because it's not like health insurance where you have, and a lot of people may not realize this, Obamacare and all that stuff. That's health insurance, not long-term care insurance. Pre-existing conditions, they matter when it comes to long-term care insurance.
They do, and it can be simple pre-existing conditions like using a walker could knock you out of consideration for long-term care insurance. Long-term care insurance is really to pay for daily needs for, say, in-home care for eating, dressing, walking. When a mature individual can't do those things for themselves, they're called daily living activities, or DLAs.
Okay.
When they have 2 or 3 of those things they can't do on their own, that's when long-term care insurance kicks in. But it's interesting considerations for long-term care insurance because the premiums can increase in the future.
Yep.
And so you don't really know what to budget for. And so as the holder of a policy looks into the future, they think, how am I going to handle this with possibly decreasing income. And that's one of the things we work with financial planners and our clients with reverse mortgages to fund their long-term care insurance.
I mean, there are plenty of different diseases out there that people can get and contract later in life or early in life where they become debilitated. They need help doing stuff, and that's where the long-term care insurance is. Or an accident could happen. There's lots of different things, lots of different reasons. That's why you buy insurance in the first place, right? It's in case stuff happens. That's where long-term care insurance comes in, is for when those situations arise. So when we talk about how do you pay for it now? Because if you start looking, okay, I can already hear people saying, oh, I have to buy another insurance. You mean I need more insurance? Well, yeah, this one's kind of important. This one's about your health. It's about your body. It's about your lifestyle. That's a pretty big one. But how do we pay for it, Christina?
Well, a lot of these seniors are going to be wanting to age in place in their homes. And one of the ways that we can do that with long-term care insurance and reverse mortgage, both are geared to help seniors age in place. Long-term care makes sure someone will come in to take care of them. And the reverse mortgage ensures they're going to be able to stay in their home. So let's say someone has a mortgage right now and they're paying maybe $800 a month for their mortgage. We can help them do a reverse mortgage, get rid of having to pay that mortgage payment every month, and now they have $800 for premiums for long-term care. That's one way. There's going to be seniors who have their mortgage already paid off.
Right.
In that case, we can look at doing a 10-year payment. So every month, say their premium every month is going to be about $500, we can look at a 10-year payment where we get them at least $500, and every month their reverse mortgage is now paying for their long-term care insurance.
Yes, which is huge if you really think about it. I mean, it's using your home as a tool to help plan for the future, right? And that's what a good reverse mortgage strategy is all about, right, Scott?
Well, it's really right. And the reverse mortgage is actually National Council on Aging provides a booklet that every reverse mortgage applicant is supposed to get, and it's called Use Your Home to Stay at Home. And that's what a reverse mortgage is good for. And interestingly enough, that's also what long-term care insurance does. Over half the claims in the last reporting year were claims for in-home care. About 20% were claims for nursing homes, 30% were claims for assisted living. But again, the primary reason people are making claims is to get in-home care. And that's where the reverse mortgage comes in, as Christina said, either helping them get rid of their house payment, so then now they have cash flow to pay the premiums for long-term care, or to get a 10-year payment, a payment every month that from their reverse mortgage that pays the long-term care. Now, that's using a reverse mortgage to fund long-term care. But again, a lot of people can't get it. Again, last reporting year, for people 59 and under, 30% were denied coverage. People who applied that were between 60 and 79, 70% were denied coverage.
Wow. So
that's when a reverse mortgage should be used as an alternative to long-term care insurance. The typical long-term care policy has about $164,000 in benefits, which is interesting to think about in relation to a reverse mortgage as an alternative. To get $164,000 in proceeds from a reverse mortgage, a 65-year-old would need about $300,000 in equity. A 75-year-old would need about $265,000 in equity. Given that Southern California real estate prices have increased 40% since 2000, the year 2000, chances are pretty good most of these mature homeowners that are looking for an alternative to long-term care have the equity they need to equal or exceed what a long-term care policy could do for them.
Right, because at the end of the day, $164,000 isn't going to get you a whole lot of care for very long. And that's the thing, and that's one of the reasons why I think it makes sense to get long-term care insurance. If you're going to get it as soon as you can, because you can get those policies that build up, sort of like the reverse mortgage credit line.
Right.
They built your allowable amount that you have access to grows over time. So if you get it early, then you might actually have a couple $1 million eligible in your long-term care, which would actually, that'd be enough, to last you a while. You have $164,000, in-home care is expensive. But one thing that is kind of been a mantra today that I think we should point out very specifically is the concept of aging in place. Because that is what most people want to do and what that actually means. So what that means is stay in your home. People don't want to go somewhere else. For the most part, people want to stay in their home. Long-term care insurance can help you do that. A reverse mortgage can help you do that.
That's right.
Scott, what about all those people who don't qualify for long-term care insurance? How could they use a reverse mortgage, or is there a way for them to use a reverse mortgage to supplement that?
Absolutely. One of the successful strategies we've seen our clients use is a reverse mortgage line of credit, where at funding they don't really take any funds, but they have this big balance sitting there available to them as a safety net that they can access anytime they need it for medical expenses that arise. And the beautiful thing is the untapped balance grows at the note rate, which right now is 3.25% to 4.5%. So each year they have more money available than they had available the year before. Great safety net, great way for these mature homeowners to get really health security.
So learning about reverse mortgages is something that I've been doing for years. I can really, really appreciate it. A lot of people are just kind of hearing little bits here and there, or they hear the commercials to call the 800 number for some guy who might not even be in the country or whatever it is. But if someone wants to learn the old-fashioned way, they want to meet you guys. They want to sit down and hear it from the horse's mouth, so to speak. You guys are doing events now, right?
We are. We're having workshops, local workshops. Please check out our website for the date and time and to register, or call us, register directly with us, or set up a personal, in-person appointment. We'd be glad to work with you.
Fantastic stuff. So here's what I would recommend. If you are even close, if you're 61 and change, or if you are looking at how do I fix an underfunded retirement, how do I make sure that I have funded my retirement as much as I possibly can, this is something that you should learn more information about. If you're a homeowner and you're getting close to 62, check out the Harmes team website, Scott and Christina Harmes, father-daughter reverse mortgage experts for Smarter San Diego, and continue to watch the Underfunded Retirement series, as they will be guests on the show again in the future. Thank you so much for being here, guys. Really appreciate your time.
Thank you, Derek.
Stick around for more Smarter San Diego TV, where we guarantee to make you smarter than everyone else, commercial free. Our next guests are very talented local musicians, Alexa and Ryan Villa. Welcome to the show, guys.
Thank you. Thanks for having us.
Yes, great to have you on TV now. We've had you on the radio before, which was an amazing performance. You guys performed live for us.
Thank you.
Everyone at the station was blown away by it.
Oh.
Today, instead, we're going to play a music video, Do What You Do, which has been a very popular song for you guys.
It's one of my favorites. It's fun. It's a fun one.
Yeah, and I want to know what's going on. Like, what are you up to now? Are you writing now? Are you going to release an album soon? What's happening right now in your world?
We've been writing all summer, just really working on the writing, like writing. We played a lot of shows over summer too, but right now we're really focusing on studio time. So we want to get in there and actually finish the album. And once that's done, we're going to get a bunch of merch, and no promises, but we're planning a tour for next year, hopefully.
Merch?
Yeah, merchandise, like, sorry, like T-shirts and CDs and stickers, all that good stuff. We actually have some stickers now too, if you want, on my website.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. What's the website? Let's go there.
AlexaMusicNow.com.
AlexaMusicNow.com.
Yes.
I like it. All right. Where do you fit in with the merch, Ryan?
I just wear it.
You just model it.
Yeah, I
Put the
just model
stickers
it.
on his guitar case, that kind of thing.
I notice you're going with a little more beard action now than you were in the past.
Yeah, it's keeping me warm.
Is that part of the feel?
Dude,
Yeah.
it was so hot over summer. What are you talking about? No, just kidding.
But you're thinking about touring.
Yeah.
So what's that whole process like? Because you guys are amazingly talented musicians. I mean, people, if you listen to their music, you'll be like, wow, these people should be on the VMAs,
You're
and
making
stuff
me
like.
blush.
No, it's true. It's true. You guys are really, really amazing.
Thank you.
But there's a long process to it that I think a lot of people don't realize. It's not just about being a
Absolutely.
great musician. You have to really stick with it. You have to really try to market yourselves. You have to
They're
try
like
to do
two
lots
sides of your
things.
brain, like the creative side and then like the logical side. And I'm like, it's hard to like balance that for me because I just want to go and like sit in the studio forever and just write a bunch of music, But then, for me, it's kind of hard. It's like harder work, pretty much, to like sit on the computer, like plan. Pretty much, planning for me is kind of difficult. He's helpful. He's helpful with that part.
You're helpful. Are you glad to know that?
Well, you know what I mean.
I should mention that you're brother and sister.
Yeah.
Yes.
Just-
Unfortunately.
I'm
No,
sure.
just
I'm
kidding.
sure people think all the time that you guys are a couple, right?
I don't think we've ever gotten that.
We actually haven't gotten that ever.
That's never happened?
No.
Huh.
Because I'm taller than him,
And
which
it's
is
weird
like,
that you brought that up.
You don't look alike at all.
people say that all the time too though. They say that actually. Like, they're like, you guys are brother and sister? And I'm like, yeah, we are.
Yeah.
No, but yeah, people think that.
Just because I needed a guitar player.
Yeah, totally. No, we've been playing together for a long time. Probably since I was like 16, I would say. Or before that, but like seriously started like actually
It was
focusing on
like
it.
2010, wasn't it?
Yeah, probably around there. But growing up, he had a band before I did, like obviously because I was like, I'm the younger sister. So he had a band, and I would kind of like sit in with his band growing up. And
I hated it.
He would hate it. And my dad would be like, just let her sing a song. And he'd be like, Dad, blah, 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 you know, that kind of thing. And so now it's like, now we actually like get to enjoy sharing the stage. So it's really nice.
That is cool. And, you know, that's something that's a really important aspect to, you know, having a band is that there's some cohesion there. And as brother and sister, you know, there's always kind of a built-in, you know, relationship as brother and sister. So to be on the same team,
Yeah.
and for you guys to work so well together, that's really a blessing.
It really is a blessing.
It really, really
totally.
is.
Yeah, it's challenging at times, that's for sure.
Yeah, you don't see behind the scenes.
Yeah, we got to make some behind the scenes clips.
Should we do a reality show? Is that what this, you know?
It's leading up. That's actually next year. We have
That's
some
next
planned. No, but it is difficult at times because, you know, we're brutally honest with each other. So that could, you know, lead to some like face punches. And no, I'm just kidding.
That's why we have so much makeup on right now.
Yeah, is that what it is? So you have to. Who's more of the writer? Usually it works that like someone's the writer, more of the composer, or somebody has like a role to come up with the hook, and then people fill from there. What's your guys' writing style?
Kind of like all over the place.
It really is. I think we're pretty much equal writers. Like because I think for both of us, that's our favorite part is like the writing, you know, because it's just like you get to sit there and just like create anything you want, you know.
Performing's got to be the favorite part.
Oh, performing too.
That's
Oh,
gotta
yeah.
be it.
Yeah. Well, I like all of it, but you know, the creating part's really fun. It's pretty 50-50 though, wouldn't you say? Depending.
I'd say I write more music and she writes more the lyrics.
Yeah, it goes 50-50 that way too. Like,
Because you're both singing as well, right?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's mostly you're the main vocal, right, Alexa? But Ryan, you sing as well.
Yeah, I back
He's got a
her
great
up
voice.
sometimes.
Yeah. No. I mean, I remember the live performance in the radio studio that we did. I don't know, what was that, a year ago? I don't know how long ago.
Yeah,
it was a while ago.
Yeah,
I think it was last winter. But yeah, I remember you were singing, playing the guitar. It was all so raw, but it was so amazing. You did such a good job with it, you know?
you.
And the way that music works now, it's so hyper-produced, it seems like. You know, I feel like there's a lot of value in the live shows for you guys. I think you guys, I mean, if I'm you, I want to be out there live as much as possible. Because really hearing great live music, that's hard to come by.
Yeah.
yeah. Okay, I lied when I said writing was my favorite. Because yeah, being on stage too is just like a whole different animal. It's just so much fun. It's just like such like a freeing thing, you know what I mean?
I think it's cool because like the final stage, like everything just came together. Like
It's
the whole song, the whole production is just.
Yeah,
there.
that's like that being on stage is like your hour or 30 minutes or whatever of like free time. You know what I mean? Like you're working all the other parts, all the other part of the day, like in the studio, you know, and you're finally done. Like you said, it just comes together and you're like, I can just like have fun now, you know?
Well, let me ask you some more personal questions,
Okay.
Because you're both relatively young here. I mean, we're talking mid-20s, right?
Yeah.
I just had a birthday.
You just had a birthday?
Yeah, that was so nerdy of me to say it like this.
How old are you now?
I just turned 22.
22, that's right. Because last time you had just turned 21,
Yeah,
I think it
weird,
was.
yeah.
When you were in this, which is crazy, right? You're so young. You have so much time ahead of you. But I got to imagine now, at least at this point, things are really catching on. You guys are becoming very popular. Ryan, do you have to be bouncer guy? A lot of guys coming after your little sis here?
Not really, honestly.
Wow, no, just kidding.
I didn't mean it like that, but
So they're not coming after her, or you just don't play bouncer guy?
They actually run
Both.
away from me. No, just kidding.
They
No,
run
kidding.
away.
I don't know if. Well, I don't know.
No,
I mean, you gotta have a personal life too, right? I mean, at some
Yeah.
point you gotta be like dating or like going out. And does anyone have a boyfriend or girlfriend here?
I do. I have a girlfriend.
You have a girlfriend?
Yeah. and then I don't know what's
Alexa,
going
do you
on
have
with
a
that.
girlfriend?
No, I'm not really seeing anybody right now, actually.
Okay,
Yeah.
that's interesting. So, might be the most eligible bachelorette in San Diego right there on this couch.
Yeah.
No.
So now I have to get a
My
bouncer shirt.
keyboard. My
He's
keyboard
like,
is
yeah,
my
but yeah, we're gonna keep
relationship.
it that way. I need to focus on music, man.
Yeah. Yeah, no. I was gonna say, have you heard that song "Music Is My Boyfriend"? No.
Oh, did you write that?
No, but it's a good song. I like that song.
It is a good song, but I mean, it's because it's a lot of work,
It
right?
is,
I mean,
yeah,
we're
absolutely.
talking about studio time, writing. You know, you got to set up all these gigs, performing.
Yeah.
You got to market yourself. I mean, there's a whole lot to this thing. So, but at some point, you got to be a 22-year-old, right?
Yeah. Honestly, most of the time of my day is spent like working on music. You know, it's literally like it's a big commitment, which is it's really satisfying for me. That's like what I want to do. When I'm not in the studio, I guess I like the beach. Beach is really fun. But honestly, I know people ask me that too, like all the time. Like, what do you do other than music? And I'm like, what other than what? I don't.
What are you
do
talking
mean?
about?
No, shopping,
Okay.
beach.
Typical.
Yeah.
Typical.
Typical.
Get your nails did, you know. No.
So we're gonna we're gonna play your music video. Do What You Do. Tell us a little bit about this song. You know, what's it about? What should someone really take away from this?
For me, I don't know. I was kind of thinking about how hard it is to trust people, I guess, you know, like in relationship wise, you know, but then, you know, you end up realizing, I don't know, like falling for it anyways kind of thing. So you're just kind of like giving in, like do what you do kind of thing. And then looking back at the song, I kind of think about it too, like non-relationship wise, just kind of like when I sing the chorus anyways, I just kind of think of do what you do is like, it's kind of like a mantra for me in my head, just like be yourself kind of
Be
thing.
yourself.
And it's kind of weird because I didn't write it that way. But looking back for me, like when I sing it, that's just kind of like what I think of.
Really, really cool. What about you, Ryan?
I didn't really
Contribute
lyrically or musically. That was pretty much the guitar parts, but she pretty much wrote that whole
matters.
song.
That matters!
Totally.
You matter. Don't cry. No, just kidding.
Well, thank you guys so much for being here, Alexa and Ryan Villa. Really appreciate you guys coming on the show today.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you.
All right, stick around right now for Do What You Do.
Don't trust a man with the blue eyes. That's a story with looks and a good smile. Don't give a kiss behind closed eyes. Never trust, be the first to say goodbye. Oh, 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 Don't love a man with a dark side. Someday I'll learn how to take advice. Do what you're told and you'll get by. Someday I'll learn, maybe next time. Run, running around and around. Down, 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 down. I can't let it, no, can't fight it, no. I like it, do what you do to me. If you want it up, come and get it up. 'Cause I like it, do what you do to me. I can't let it, no, can't fight it, no. I like it, do what you do to me. If you want it up, come and get it up. 'Cause I like it, do what you do, do what you do, do what you do, what you do to me. Do what you do, what you do. Do what you do, what you do to me. Do what you do, what you do. Do what you do, what you do to me. Don't chase a man with a pop now. Keep far away where you want them. But I don't need hot shapes or sugar. Your love is strange as running around and around. Oh, down, down, slowly down, 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 down. I can't let it, no, can't fight it, no. I like it, do what you do to me. If you want it up, come and get it up. 'Cause I like it, do what you do to me. I can't let it, no, can't fight it, no. I like it, do what you do to me. If you want it up, come and get it up. 'Cause I like it, do what you do, do what you do, do what you do, what you do to me. Do what you do, what you do. Do what you do, what you do to me. Do what you do, what you do. Do what you do, what you do to me. Do what you do, what you do. Do what you do, what you do to me. Do what you do, what you do. Do what you do, what you do to me. What's living if you can't love, love? What's living if you can't love? Who you kidding? Who you kidding? What's living if you can't love? Who you kidding? Baby, rough love. What you do to me.
Our next guest is our community connection in Scripps Ranch. Please welcome my good friend and real estate expert, Scott Ryan. Scott, how you doing, man?
Hey, Derek, how's it going?
Great to have you here. Now, you brought a special guest today.
I did. I brought Christy Rader. She is the president of the Scripps Ranch Fire Safe Council.
Good timing, because it's about that time of year, isn't it?
Absolutely. This time of year we get the Santa Anas, and fire is always a great concern in Scripps Ranch.
Well, there's been some history in that area of fires or evacuations. Like 2007 there was evacuation, but there was no fire. But in 2003 there were some fires there. Scott, you live in Scripps Ranch. What was that like for you as a resident?
You know, it was a little scary, to be honest with you. I'd heard about the fires in 2003. I'd seen all the damage and the destruction that had happened. Even though I bought there, I was still concerned. So in 2007, when I got evacuated, I was totally unprepared. You know, I was scrambling around the house, grabbing things, trying to take pictures and video of what I had in my home and scramble out of there, and I really didn't have a plan. So in doing this segment, I really wanted to talk about how I can help my fellow neighbors in the community be better prepared.
Yeah, it's crazy because I recently took a trip, and my Uber driver to the airport had a house in Scripps Ranch in 2003 that burned down, and he told me something very similar. He said, you know, I had no idea we were being evacuated. We had no idea we'd come back home and nothing would be there. It was a really interesting story, so I'm so glad that you took the time to bring Christy Rader in here today and kind of tell us, hey, how do we get prepared for fire season in Scripps Ranch? You know, we can't ignore this. It's a reality of the situation. Living in San Diego, anywhere. I mean, Carlsbad last year. I mean,
Sure.
it could happen anywhere.
Sure.
But for Scripps Ranch residents, what they need to know about how to be prepared for fire safety, how to protect the investment in their home, Scott, and that's where you're the expert.
Yeah, absolutely. Protecting your investment. I mean, buying real estate is probably the single most expensive, biggest investment you'll make in your life. So it's important to protect that investment. And from a fire perspective, I think the best way to do that, number one, is to have proper defensible space. If you live in Scripps Ranch on a canyon, if you have trees or brush in your backyard, you want to have at least 100 feet of defensible space from your property. I think it's also important, you know, with the drought these days, people are letting their lawns die, and those lawns are ember inducers. So having the proper landscape, you know, whether it's succulents or plants that don't burn as easily is important. Mm-hmm. And then finally, having the proper roof. As we all know, tile roof will withstand a fire a lot longer than a composition roof. And it's important that if you do get a tile roof that you have those eaves capped, because the embers can still get underneath those eaves and cause a fire. So having the proper roofing, I think, would definitely not only help you from a real estate perspective, but protect your home from a fire.
Your home, your family, everything that's involved there. I'll tell you one thing, insurance is also something you got to really take a look at, because my Uber driver, whose home burned down in Scripps Ranch in 2003, he said it took him a year. I'm gonna say names. I'm gonna name names. State Farm was the insurance company he had, and he said it took him a year to get the money. So I think you really got to know, you got to talk to some of the people who've been in Scripps Ranch for a while, like you guys, to say, all right, well, who's the insurance company we should really be using for something like this?
Absolutely. You want to check that as you're going through that process too, because there are some companies that will not insure in that area, but there are plenty of great reputable companies out there that will insure. And just make sure that you have the proper coverage.
Yeah, proper coverage, and we're talking about not just, you know, the home itself and what the value is, right? Because we've seen property values in Scripps Ranch go up a lot, right, Scott?
Absolutely.
So you don't want to just be insuring for what you bought it for.
Yeah.
You got to make sure you have some sort of clause in there or some extra coverage for the appreciation that people have been seeing.
Exactly.
Because my Uber driver again, his house had doubled in value. Doubled in value in like 5 or 6 years, and the insurance company was trying to pay him for what he had bought it for and not what it was worth. So I think that's got to be a huge item on the list when you're looking to protect that investment.
Absolutely. And your Uber driver was one of 350 families that lost homes that year.
Is that right?
That's right.
350 families?
350 families were either impacted by fire damage or completely lost their homes in 2003.
Wow. And is that what ultimately sort of spawned the Fire Safe Council? Is that how it came to be?
It is. We saw the damage inflicted on our neighborhoods and said, what can we do about this? So my neighbor and good friend came marching down the street and said, what can we do? And so we created the nonprofit entity, the Scripps Ranch Fire Safe Council.
And tell us about the Fire Safe Council, what you guys are doing to help the community.
Well, what we do is we try and provide information and facts to help people defend their space and come up with the capping of your roof and all these kinds of pertinent information that people are unaware of. We created this evacuation plan as part of our effort to inform the people of what they can do to make sure that they're protected. The evacuation plan is kind of more geared to how to protect your family.
Yeah.
If you can open the first cover, it
Sure.
talks about how to plan ahead, how to pack in advance, so that you're really literally ready to just pick up and go. At the slightest provocation, like you were suddenly notified you had to leave and you didn't know what to take. This tells you to have your go bag ready, you know where your essential documents are, you know where your meds are, your pets, people forget their pets at the last minute. So this warns you in advance what to have ready to go. On the back page you'll see that the last run out the door checklist is, are your doors locked? Have you closed your garage door? Do you have everything with you? So this is one of the things that we do as an organization to inform the public.
Yeah, because I imagine people would probably sit there and think, well, they're going to evacuate us. They're going to let us know before we have time to go, so we're going to be okay. Right? We don't really need to think about planning much because they'll tell us, they'll see it coming, they'll know which way the wind's blowing, and they'll say, all right, everybody's got to get out. Because a lot of people lost their homes, but no one was injured, right, during the fires in 2003.
Not in Scripps Ranch.
Yeah.
Lives were lost in Ramona, but not in Scripps Ranch.
Not in Scripps Ranch, because people were notified. So people say, oh, we're going to be okay. But if you have a plan like this, you can really save yourself some heartache, because if all you have is the clothes on your back right now, if that's all that you end up with, like my poor Uber driver did, that's not really a good situation. That's not ideal.
No, it's not. One of the last things I grabbed for my kids were their Halloween costumes. Because it was Halloween, and Halloween has to come at the last minute no matter what, wherever you're living at the time. But this is an excellent plan to show people what they need to do to be prepared in case you get that last minute phone call and have to leave immediately.
Yeah, and I love the fact, first of all, Scott, I want to commend you for bringing this up, to bringing this to our attention on the show, because I know you live in Scripps Ranch, you're a Scripps Ranch expert, you know what people are thinking about or what they should be thinking about in that area, but this is really, really good to know. The Scripps Ranch is a big area. There's a lot of people who live in Scripps Ranch.
Absolutely.
A lot of families, a lot of homeowners, a lot of renters too, but there's a lot of families who live there who need to know how to be prepared about this. Now you guys are doing an event too, right?
We are. We have our annual expo that will be on the 26th of September. And it's from 9 to 3, and we invite anyone from the community to attend. It's not just tailored for Scripps Ranch. We'll have panels of police officers, firefighters, insurance companies. Walter Anderson Nursery will come and present sort of a board review on plants. We have Louisiana food trucks that will come serve you all day, so there's food available. But there will be lots of information, lots of vendors to talk about prevention, protection, and issues that are important to everyone in the county.
That's fantastic. Just great stuff. I'm so glad that you guys are doing this. It's really, it's a beautiful thing to see a community come together. And you tell me about this all the time about Scripps Ranch, Scott.
It's a great community.
It's nice to really see that coming together and working to help one another protect the things that are most important to us. Tell us, Christy, real quick, if someone wanted to find out more about the Scripps Ranch Fire Council or Fire Safe Council, or how to get involved in it, volunteer, donate money, how would they do that?
They can go to our website, srfiresafecouncil.org, and get information from there. We're also having a golf tournament on October 10th.
Oh, nice.
To help raise money for our efforts, and you're going to play, right?
Yeah.
Scott's going to come play. He'll bring
I don't think he's playing because I haven't gotten an invite yet. So
Maybe he's part of the foursome.
I'm going to win it.
There you go.
He doesn't want me. He wants to win.
But when people come and play in the tournament, we give them lots of information in bags to take home with them.
Great.
But they can also call us at any time or get in touch with our website, and we have lots of information there as well.
Fantastic stuff. Thank you so much for being here, Christy. Really appreciate what you're doing in the community. And Scott, really appreciate you bringing this to our attention.
You're welcome.
Great stuff. If you have questions about Scripps Ranch, you know who to call. Mr. Scripps Ranch, Scott Ryan. Stick around for more Smarter San Diego TV, where we guarantee to make you smarter than everyone else, commercial free.
Hi, Scott Bowman. I've been in the mortgage industry for close to 30 years. Started when I was 10. Just kidding. But actually, in that 30-year time period, I've seen it all. Low rates, high rates, good programs, bad programs, up market, down market, pretty much everything. So what that means for you is that I have a lot of wisdom and knowledge to help walk you through the process of getting a great loan program. Stonegate Mortgage has a lot of programs to offer, ranging from VA, FHA, low down payment assistant programs, home improvement products, loan amounts up to $5 million, and then we have some unique niche programs that a lot of other lenders don't offer. In addition to that, we have aggressive pricing and great rates, some of the lowest in the industry. But one of the most important things that I offer is phenomenal customer service. Streamlining the process and communicating with you, the borrower, clearly from start to finish is a vital part of my business. You don't stay in this industry for 29 years, close over $1 billion in loans personally without having amazing customer service. So if you have any questions at all, feel free to call, text, or tweet. I'd be happy to answer any questions about financing you might have. And oh yeah, there is one other thing that I need to tell you. So while most other loan officers are out looking for the next deal to throw into the pipeline, I'm managing your file day after day from start to finish to make sure you get the best darn loan possible, because I am Captain Mortgage.
Hey, great show, guys. That's a wrap. Jade, what's your schedule look like? Do you mind breaking down the set?
Not today, Derek. I'd love to, but there's waves out there. I gotta go. Angela? Nikki?
Yeah, I gotta go beat traffic. And I think Nikki's making something up there.
Oh, look at this. We did this. We did all of this.